Alright guys, I just wanted to make a real quick video going over how to take care of diastemas when making splints, and also just in general how to reduce some of the splint material in the interproximal areas. So I think this will be a pretty good case for that. Alright, so once you have your case mounted with the landmarks and everything, there's two specific ways to go about this. The first is going to be scrolling down in the menu over here to this wax droplet right here. So the wax droplets you can add by holding Shift and left clicking to manually add these balls of wax. And these balls of wax will be added to your refractory model to help block some of that out. Another way to do it is going to be this block out embrasures, which for cases that have quite a few of them may be a little faster. It's kind of an automatic version of the droplets, and if your scans are messy, you'll get other ones up here. You can right click to delete those. Not that they should bother anything that far up. And in this mode, you can also change how big you want the droplets to be, as well as a few other settings. When you do that, you'll notice that all the ones I deleted up at the top of the scan automatically come back. So just something to keep in mind. If you have a big enough gap, sometimes it won't recognize it. So if you're going to do this, you might have to come back in to wax droplets and add an extra piece. This wax curves works very similar, except you draw point A and point B. So if you have a missing tooth, that can help make your bridge for that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and commit just so that you guys can see how those drops show up on this side. And the other method to block these out is going to be to sculpt directly onto the refractory model. So I'm going to do that on this side so you can see the results of both. So to do that, I'll scroll back up. Survey model quick. Go ahead and save that. Make our refractory model. Alright, so you can see those droplets pulled straight up. That way there will be no wax in these little areas. And then for this side, what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and sculpt directly on the refractory model. So with the refractory model selected, I'm going to come down here and enter sculpt mode, and then come over here to tools. So these will be the same tools that you see in sculpt mode later on in the Splint workflow. And I'm going to grab the fill deepen brush so that it lets me just kind of fill in the material right here in between. And you can see as I'm drawing my brush right here, it's ever so slowly building up the material right there in between the teeth. Now, if you want that to be a little thicker, you can hit F on your keyboard and scale up the brush size a little bit, and that'll give you a little bit more area it'll add to. And the thing about this fill deepen brush is it will not change the height of anything around it, it just adds material between the two. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind is anywhere that this beige is poking through is where our original model's coming through. So you're just going to want to make sure that there's none left there. Ooh. And actually, as you can see, I've been changing the material over here. That was my mistake. You want to make sure that over here you have symmetry off. I had left symmetry on X. So let me go ahead and undo all of my sculpting. Make sure symmetry is off. You can hit Control Z in this mode to undo your brush strokes. And then just build that back up a little bit. Just remember the refractory model, unlike the beige scan, the refractory model is what's actually going to be subtracted from the final splint at the end of the workflow when you hit the finalize button. So there we go. That's now blocked out a little bit. If you had another sharp edge or wanted to, say, add a little bit more space in here, you could do that as well. Or if you had a bridge or something and didn't want direct contact, this is also how you could come in with the inflate tool and just add a little bit of depth and a little bit of wax so that there wouldn't be any direct contact. All right, hope you guys find that helpful. Once you're done with this, you'll just want to go back to object mode, and then come back down and resume your D3 tool workflow as usual. All right.